Hello everyone, welcome back. So as you know, we are discussing RBI Grade B Officers Examination question paper for phase 2. We have already discussed few of the questions and we are coming up with the next set of questions, that is beginning from question number 17. So beginning with question number 17, let me read out the question. Development in all societies must have which of the following objectives? A. To increase the availability and widen the distribution of basic life-sustaining goods. To raise levels of living, including, in addition to higher incomes, the provision for more jobs. To expand the range of economic and social choices available to individuals and nations. Now let me discuss one thing that according to Todaro, development is both physical reality and a state of mind in which society has, through some combination of social, economic, and institutional processes, secured the means for obtaining a better life. So bringing that into reality, whatever be the specific components of this better life, development in all societies must have at least the three objectives that I'm going to say now. This is according to Todaro. Firstly, to increase the availability and widen the distribution of basic life-sustaining food, such as we already know that food, shelter, health, and protection. Next, to raise levels of living, including in addition to higher incomes, the provision of more jobs, better education, and greater attention to cultural and human values, all of which will serve not only to enhance the material well-being, but also to generate individual and national self-esteem, which is very important for development. Nextly, to expand the range of economic and social choices which is available to all individuals and nations by freeing them from servitude and dependence not only in relation in other people and nation states but also to the forces of ignorance and human misery. So these were the sayings or the points that had been included by Trudeau. So according to the saying by Todaro, if we go by his saying, then accordingly we have option A, B, and C as all the correct options. So then we mark as option number 5 as the correct option, which is all the above. So this is the correct option, which is to increase the availability and widen distribution. That is true. To raise levels of living and to expand the range of economic and social choices. Next, moving on to question number 18. We often read about the Millennium Developmental Goals, MDGs, which we say in short form, that were adopted by the United Nations in September 2000. How many goals came under MDGs? First option we have is option 1, that is 3 goals, option 2, 6 goals, option 3, 8 goals, option 4, 10 goals, and option 5, 12 number of goals. So in actually September 2000, the 189 member countries of the United Nations, UN, at that time, it was 189 members. So they adopted a 8 million development goals, which is the MDGs, committing themselves to making substantial progress towards the eradication of poverty and achieving other human developmental goals by the year 2015. So accordingly, if we come to the statement, we have a number of goals that they had been adopting was 8. So accordingly, our option number 3 is the correct option, which is 8 number of goals, which is this 8 number of goals. Next, moving on to question number 19. Which of the following statements is or are correct regarding underdeveloped countries? They are marked by low levels of per capita income and low living standard in their masses. They are known as developing countries. They are known as third world countries. Now, moving to the definition, as they said, which of the following are correct relating to underdeveloped countries. Yes, the most common way to define the developing world or the underdeveloped countries is for the per capita income that we have, right? So accordingly, if we say the underdeveloped countries have low per capita income and low living standards of the masses. This is very true. The underdeveloped countries today are also known by developing economies because they have the capability and the capacity, or they are trying to make the efforts that are intended, or indeed they are making the efforts towards economic process through better utilization of their actual and potential resources, and they are making much efforts to. Also, the underdeveloped countries are also known as the third world countries. So accordingly, if we go by this, all the three statements are true. That is, they are marked by low levels of per capita income. They are known as developing economies, and also they are known as the third world countries. So accordingly, option number 5 is the correct option to this. That is, all of the above are true, right? So this is the correct option. Answer number 5 is our correct option. Next, moving on to question number 20. Consider the following statements regarding the classification of countries. The Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, that is the OECD, and the United Nations offer classifications of countries by their economic status. The International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, that is the IBRD, classify countries on the basis of purchasing power parity PPI per capita. UNDP classifies countries according to their levels of human development. Now we have a range or a combination of answers where we are supposed to choose the correct one. Now discussing each and every one. The Organization of Economic Cooperation of Development, that is the OECD, and the United Nations offers classifications of countries by the economic status. Yes, we know this as true. The most common way actually to define the developing world is by the per capita income only. Several international agencies, including the OECD, as I discussed, and the United Nations, they offer classifications of countries by their economic status. Okay. So by going through that, but one thing to be discussed is the best known system is that the International Bank Reconstruction, that is the IBRD, or Reconstruction and Development, more commonly known as the World Bank, that we famously know. Actually, in this World Bank classification system, world economies with a population of at least 30,000 are ranked by the levels of GNI, that is the gross national income per capita. These economies are then classified as low income countries, that is the LICs, lower middle income countries, which is the LMCs, and upper middle income countries, which is the UMCs. And then comes the high income, that is the OECD countries and other high income countries. So based on this classification by the World Bank, we come to the conclusion that option number 3 is the correct option. That is, both A and C are the true answers. Yes, so I mark this, that is option number A and C is the correct answer to my question number 20. So the 21 question that we have is, which of the following observations is or are not correct? So mark this answer very carefully. It is asked not correct. So we have to identify the false one. Firstly, all high income countries are necessarily developed countries. Number B, the high income economies comprising less than 20% of world population contributes more than 50% to the world PPP GNI. And the third option, the developing countries are those with low, lower, middle or upper middle incomes. So we have to select the correct codes, that is a series of combinations have been given, only A, only B, both A and C, both B and C, and all of the above are correct. Coming to the discussion of this answer. all high income countries are necessarily developed countries. Now, this shall not be true, right? Why? Because not necessarily that there is a gross, actually discussing this, there is a gross inequality of income between the rich and the poor countries. And as we tend to believe this, the gap is increasing day by day, right? The riches are becoming richer and the poor are becoming the poorer. All high income countries are not necessarily developed countries. We take, for example, the Arab states. The Arab states for a few particular years, the GNP per capita suddenly jumped to levels which exceeded that the richest Western states are yet to be observed in those particular numbers. So they are found to be some of the poorest and developed communities in the world, which they suddenly exceeded to a certain stage. In that case, we cannot consider themselves as the developed countries, though they were having high incomes. So accordingly, the first option that we have received is false. So answer number A is false, which is a segment to this answer. Next, moving on to option number B. The high income economies comprising less than 20% of world population contribute more than 50% to the world PPP GNI. Yes, this is true. So we cannot mark this as an incorrect answer. Next, moving on to option number C. The developing countries are those with low, lower, middle, or upper middle incomes. Yes, this is also true. So developing countries, as I just discussed in the earlier question, they are the part of it. So accordingly, we can have only option A as the incorrect or the false one. So we have only number 1 to choose here. That is 21's answer is option number 1, which is only A. That is high income countries and necessarily developed countries. It is not the correct one. Next, moving on to question number 22. As per the definition given by the Planning Commission of India in the 5th five-year plan, an underdeveloped country's economy is characterized by the existence in greater or lesser degree of unutilized manpower, underutilized manpower, unexploited natural resources. Again, we have a series of codes, that is A and B, only C, A and C, B and C, and all of the above. Now, the Indian 5-year planning commission, that was in the 5th five-year plan, as it states that it was characterized by the existence in greater or lesser degree of underutilized or unutilized manpower in one hand, and on the other hand, it spoke about the unexploited natural resources. So this state of affairs may be due to the stagnancy of techniques or to the certain inhibition of socio-economic factors which prevent the more dynamic forces in an economy from asserting themselves. So accordingly, if we consider that A, B, and C, that is unutilized, underutilized manpower, and unexploited natural resources, all the three are the correct answers. So accordingly, we have option number 5 to be choosing as the correct one, because this has all of the above, that is all A, B, and C, right? So I will conclude my video here with question number 22. In the next videos, I will be coming up with the rest of the questions. So please follow that. And I hope all my answers have been clearly discussed. So keep following. Thank you.